I'm Diego Cordeveras.
Adam Schoenfeld.
Welcome to The Scoop. We've got a young man named Adam Levy with us today. He's been a successful player for years, but then last year he finished 12th in the main event, which is a pretty good accomplishment. And we're going to talk to him about that and about his rise in the world of poker. So you've been very accomplished online, and then last year you made a deep run in the main event and finished 12th. But my impression is that flew completely under the radar, at least in terms of ESPN's coverage, because I watched all of that. Of the players that were in the final 3 tables, you're certainly one of the more successful, stronger resume guys, but it didn't seem like you were featured prominently.
Well, clearly if I had gotten 9th, you know, I would have been, I definitely would, I think I probably would have been the second biggest story, just like aside from like Grinder. But
or if you'd thrown the cards at someone.
Yeah, I probably should have just like barked, you know, or something.
Is it because you're pretty silent and?
Well, I'm not silent. Like it's funny because there were so many small things that like I was always chatting. Day 7, I was just chatting up with everyone. There was even like the guys would come by, and there was some dude whose name was like, they called him like, I guess his last name is Sharples, and I was just like, that's the most hilarious last name ever. And then, like there'd be like an all in, and I'd just be like Sharples, like because they'd call for him, like come here, and like that kind of stuff is funny, but I guess it can't really they can't like you really make that
unless they could have the setup. Then they show the punchline, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like I was having a ball. They showed a couple things, and there on day 8, what happened was at the final 3 tables, I had a lot of good hands. One was against Kathy Lederer's her boyfriend, I don't know, yeah. And then another was against like Eskandar, who like 3-bet half his stack, 2/3 his stack, and I had kings. And I wasn't even in the pot yet, so I just went all in. And he just thought for a while, and he just like said something like, "Oh man, this is so sick. I run into aces again." And at that point, like, I don't even think you want to call from like queens. The only thing you want to call from is king X. Mm-hmm. So like I actually said something to him, and I really wish they would have shown this because I forgot what I said because it was so in the moment. But it was like I just remember being like, because I don't even talk when I'm in these like high like pressure situations most of the time. But I just remember being so sure that this would be like the perfect thing to get him to fold, right. And then he folded. Unfortunately, he showed a king. And, like, so I guess it wasn't kings, but, like, I mean, I can't really know that at that time, so it's whatever.
Could have been ace-king.
Yeah, if it was ace-king, like, I still want to fold.
I'd like to be on the other side of that matchup with king 3 at the final of the World Cup, which I have been. Yeah, but I had already put in all my chips, not just 2/3.
Oh, wow.
But this is interesting because I've watched those final couple of tables a couple of times, and you really see the tension get to people where it's such a huge deal now with November 9 to make the final 9 that when you get down to 15, 12 players, you can feel the tension, but you were having fun. You were not.
Yeah, well, the problem was it was like there wasn't even real. Like that was the thing. Final 3 tables, I was pretty focused. The final 2 tables, I mean, I didn't have a single like there were like I could have like maybe 3-bet like with like nothing, but I didn't even have like nothing that was good enough like. Mm-hmm. King 3 suited or something. Right. Like I'd be, you know, there was like never any spots, and if there were ever any spots, I was like, we have 30 big blinds, you know, like let's just wait. This is the main event. We don't want to like make like we want to be sure about our play. Let's just like stay tight. It's very, you know, like it's just like you just play tight. People are just spewing in front of you. Mm-hmm. You'll eventually get a hand. Those hands never came. Right. And it was like literally the most carded I've ever been at the worst possible moment that it could happen. Granted, the way that I busted out might have not been like I could have like raised folded, like it's because I like shoved like king queen for like 17 big blinds
on a razor or just
just open shove, but we were 6-handed,
right?
And all the pay jumps had already happened, and I was like I think I had like 3.7 million, someone at 3.9, and then like 10th on had like 9 million, right? So like I was going to have to double up, and like. You know, yes, I could raise fold, but then I'm still, you know, like I still might have not made it. But the fact that Duhamel had aces,
right? That
was like kind of like brutal.
If you pick up the blinds and antes, then we don't remember that and just move on.
Yeah. So there wasn't a big dramatic confrontation or decision.
Unfortunately, no. It was like I shoved the hand before, with Jack 10 of hearts, and then the next hand I like had King Queen, and like you can fold, you can raise fold, you can shove, but I just chose the wrong of those three, I guess, But like, it's like, yes, it's the main event, but I still had to do work to get to even to the final table. I mean, it took like 6-7 hours after I busted.
Right, of
Busted
course.
at 10 p.m. and went till 5 a.m.
Once they're down to 10 and 11, then
Yeah.
it really becomes a grind.
When that happened, Adam, were you bitterly disappointed, or you just feel like you did the best you could?
It was the grossest I've ever felt. Like it was the grossest you could ever feel for winning that amount of money.
Right.
It's just like complete like.
It's always the case, of course. If you started the event and they said you can finish 12th and win 600,000 or whatever.
Yeah. You'd be like, great,
second.
ecstatic.
But at that point, you really can feel the final table. This is a final pay jump, like you said. Final 3 players. You're playing short-handed. You're almost there.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was. I had actually gone. It was. I was kind of beaten by that point. Like, if you'd actually like watched the final 2 tables, I was just like there was a point where like Levy, he just like looks bored. They like said like Norman chat, and like I kind of was, because I just like 10 deuce. Not, it was just like over and over, and it's like you just can't like. I mean, it's just like you're just like, all right, well, we'll eventually see something. And I saw 10s, but it was a misdeal. And I looked at the cards. I don't know why. Like inexplicably, like just like, well, let me see. And like obviously it was 10s. I can't remember last time that's actually happened where it's actually been a hand.
Right. So I better not to look at those.
Yeah.
It's like when they fold.
And I didn't even know I was a misdeal. They were just like, we're just gonna play it safe, and it was a misdeal. No.
That's like when you get a walk. You don't want to look. It's like you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been raising every hand.
You're only gonna do anything but tilt yourself. But I'm just too, like.
I mean, you're a very accomplished online player. You've won a lot of money consistently online. I mean, I saw something where I think 2 or 3 years in a row you were close to $1 million overall winnings, because it's primarily of online play. But now are you recast as a live tournament player, or what's your
well, I mean,
feeling?
I think that my online like volume has progressively dropped like each year, but I mean, yeah, I mean I've kind of been around the live like scene for a bit, but it's still like which weird to just think primarily live.
Did you start by playing live, or because there are some players that we know who are very successful who the first hand of poker they ever played was online, and the first hand of live poker was like at the World Series the first time they went.
No. I mean,
you started like a more traditional
2003 moneymaker, rounders. Just sat around, watched all that stuff on repeat, and like with friends on like this like plastic like coffee table, and like $5 tournaments, and then it was funny because I was living in Gainesville, and then I ended up like moving home. Just like because I guess like I was looking for a job, and like you couldn't get a job or whatever, so I just decided this is like what I was going to school there, but I was like, you know what, like I can't find a job there because like I was a server then, so I was like can't find a job, we'll just leave, whatever, so I decided to go home, and then all my friends that played Magic, they were all like, we're playing poker.
Guys.
I'm like, well, yeah, I'm another one of those guys. But they were like, yeah, we're playing poker. And I was like, I just want to play Magic. I don't like this poker thing. Can we just keep playing Magic? It's more fun.
Little did you know.
And then, like, eventually I just was like, well, I'm sick of not being part of, like, whatever they're doing. I guess I'll learn. And I was, like, the big fish for a while. And then I guess I put some money online and won a little bit. I think within 6 months I won like my first tournament the way that I came up is definitely like one of a kind. Like it's a long drawn out story, but I tried to tell it once and I didn't tell it well, but it was on Poker Road actually. It was like the worst interview I've ever done.
So then in the practice you can tell.
Yeah. But I like ended up like they're amassing like a big debt with Party Poker somehow. Like there was this thing you could get, like you could authorize free money before you got it, and I just saw it, and like I mean, at the time I was
whole before your deposit got processed.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I'll just make the money back and then deposit it, like in my like ridiculous thinking, and then I end up like my parents like caught wind of this, and they were like, "You owe like $4,000 to Party Poker." Like,
oh,
you got like my credit like was real bad. and then like they were like, "We're having an intervention. Like we're taking you out to dinner, and we're going to talk to you." That day, I entered my last $100 on Party Poker into a 109. And I won $6,000 for it.
Wow.
And they were like, okay. Like I didn't tell them until dinner, and they were just like, yeah, this needs to stop. Like, this is like seriously getting out of hand. You just need to stop playing online poker. And I was like, you're right, but I won $6,000 today doing that. And they were just like, well, I guess we'll pay back the debts, and we'll just consider this, some sort of divine intervention or whatever.
Wow.
Like, you should just stop playing poker.
Do you think you might have stopped?
Happen, but
you weren't going to stop even if...
No, I think my parents probably just said that, but they were like, well, what the heck? He just won $6,000. We were going to, like, ground him for life. And
you had the ultimate retort to them.
Yeah,
well, that's fine, except I just won $6,000.
Yeah, no, it was like, it was awesome.
Thanks for joining us on The Scoop. Very interesting to talk to Adam Levy about his World Series run.
Main event.
And we'll have him back next week. We'll talk more about how he got his start, how he rose through the ranks online and in live games, and see if he's got some anecdotes involving Phil Hellmuth potentially.
I wonder if he does.